Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home or welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. And now we even have our own store where you can purchase merchandise and rep the brand and be a brand ambassador. Our show today is the Mallorca Connection. I'm Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck, and we will be exploring how to handle challenges successfully with the star of our show, Mr. Roland-Friedl. He and I just did a show together called It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. You can find us here every 2 weeks on USA Global TV and Radio. So Roland is a Mantrepreneur, an entrepreneur. He's an author. He's been working with some of the largest companies in the world. He is someone who's done hundreds of episodes here on Talking Heads, on the Planet Earth show. And there was another few shows I don't remember, but he's actually an expert in many areas. And we're very grateful that he's here today, and especially for his men's work. Let's welcome Roland-Friedl somewhere in Europe. Hello.
Hello, Jacalyn. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our audience, wherever you're joining us. Good to be back.
It's great to have you back. And this is really a flagship show that was with us since the very beginning. And people might be wondering, what is the Mallorca Connection? So for those who are new joining us, whether it's audio or video, please tell them the background of the name of the show.
Yeah, when actually what was the background of why it's called the Mallorca Connection? Actually, when Dr. Jacalyn and myself got introduced by a friend of us who hosted another show, we have been thinking about what kind of name or how we brand the show I'm doing. And as there was, I always say, don't think outside the box, think there is no box, because I'm interested in so many different areas. I couldn't say I just want to talk about traveling or about nutrition or health or men's stuff or whatever, a business. So we called it the Mallorca Connection as a common name, because at the time that we started to collaborate together, I guess over 3 years ago, something like that, my home base, my kind of home base, was on the island of Mallorca. That's why we called it the Mallorca Connection. Just simple, no secret. It was my home base at the time.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were continuing. Okay, that was your home base. And by the way, I've heard it's absolutely magnificent there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, it's a beautiful place. I spent there 14 years there as my home, and it's a beautiful place. Yeah, actually, it's a beautifal island.
What's the airport there, if anyone's interested in traveling? How do they get there?
Actually, there are direct flights from the US too. And that's the reason why I chose Mallorca. Mallorca is an island in Spain, and the airport is called Palma de Mallorca. PMI is the code for the airport, Palma de Mallorca. And I choose it, to be honest, because it's an island. It's warm the whole year. I already spoke Spanish, and you can fly in and fly out from every major city, and they have also direct flights from and to the US. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. I'm going to look into that myself.
Maybe it's because of Michael Douglas, because his first wife Diane, she's from Mallorca. She's Spanish. She's from Mallorca, and they have a huge house there. I met them several times on the golf course and also in a restaurant. Yeah, maybe there's direct flights because of him, but I guess he has a private plane.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, our topic today is something that all of us can benefit from. And as we know, we all know people who handle challenges really well. They look at them as opportunities. And then we know people who could literally have a breakdown just because a challenge has come up. But I always think to myself, why is this happening for me? And what can I do to embrace it? And I teach in my courses, my listening courses, about putting the emotion aside. So when something happens that's not what I was expecting, or it's derailed something, I give myself a 10-minute break for a pity party, to be angry. And then I look at finding the solution. And once I do that, I put all of my energy into something positive, as opposed to wearing me down. It's like the last show we talked about sugar. It's like getting rid of all that sugar and feeling much lighter, and then having a healthy lifestyle. Looking for a solution in life is, to me, much more productive than just being angry over why something happened.
Absolutely. And actually, we can close up the show because that's all about it.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Well, I will go a little bit in detail because it's one of my focuses when I train companies. And actually, a little bit more than a week ago, I was invited by a company that's called Black Forest Digital Assets, and the owner just flew me into Barcelona to give a 4-hour leadership training focusing on how not to get distracted, meaning performance under pressure, staying focused. So yeah, it's a little bit more deeper, but at the end, it's all what you mentioned, like the jacalyn, is get out of it, get rid of the emotional suppressors, get out of it, and refocus again. But I would love to distinguish a little bit when we talk about challenges. There are different kinds of challenges, and I would say we can be challenged by the task itself, whatever we're doing in work, as a family member, as a father, as a mother, or as a musician, or people who are doing sports. So we can challenged by the task itself, or we can also be challenged by distractions that brings us away from the task we're focusing on. And these are two different things. If are we challenged by the task itself, or are we challenged by different distractions, meaning things, persons, events that trigger us and bring us in a sort of what we call a negative content loop. So I would love to distinguish between these two areas, if it's okay.
Absolutely. Take it away.
Okay. So when most people are challenged by distractions, meaning they're triggered by some things, and you can see this on yourself when you're triggered, meaning you've always have three forms of reaction, and that's where I want to start, because then you can realize, oh my gosh, I'm triggered, I'm distracted, I'm not focused, I am challenged. Maybe I'm not challenged, but I feel challenged. I feel overwhelmed. I feel emotionally negative and stuff like that. So we have always three reactions that we can see. It's some people become aggressive. Some people are escaping, running away, escaping, or another people are becoming passive. So these are the three attitudes that we see that are behaving. And it can always change. It's not that one people is always aggressive or is always passive or always running away. We can have different forms depending what kind of challenges it, but it also can depend on the circumstances, on the person, and so on. For example, I never. For example, when I look at myself and reflect my life, I never went aggressive. But sometimes I was running away and sometimes I was just passive, depending on the circumstances. So, for example, when I was a small kid, I was challenged by my dad. I was triggered by my dad because he didn't treat me well. I became very, very passive. I couldn't run away as a kid. I became very passive. When I became older, I was more the runaway. So they have different forms. So when you see yourself and yourself something that you became aggressive, meaning you're triggered by something. When you see yourself that you want to run away, or you become passive. That's the three that we see. Meaning, and this is the resource for that, or the root cause of this is because we are in a so-called negative content loop. Meaning that we have a negative thought about, and I will explain why it's going to happen, about an event or about a person or something like that, about a situation. We have a negative thought, meaning we have a biased, selective awareness. We don't see the whole thing. Yeah, we just see a part of it and think that's the whole truth, but we don't have the whole facts, the whole details. So we have a very biased, selective awareness. So we see something, or we hear something, or whatever it is. So something comes to our mind, and we start to interpret or to make assumptions. Yeah, we maybe because of feeling guilty or feeling ashamed, we don't ask for more details. We don't confront the other person or the event. So we make assumptions, and when we're making assumptions, is that we are meaning that we don't get all the information, and we only take the information in that fits to our picture that we have in our mind. So and this picture mode, this negative picture, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have negative thoughts, and these negative thoughts result in negative emotions, and negative emotions result in negative actions, negative behaving, what I want to call it. And negative action, negative behaving result in negative results. And this negative results, we believe, oh, now it's confirmed. That's the confirmation that our brain wants us. Okay, I'm right. It is like it is. And this negative compound makes even more negative thoughts, more negative emotion, more negative action, more negative result. And then we got this negative content loop where most people are in. So how to get out? First of all, as I mentioned, you realize it, you can see it on yourself, you recognize it when you have these three behaviors that I said: aggression, passive, or running away. That's always a sign that you get triggered by something and you're in this negative content loop. So the best way when you realize it is that what Dr. Jacalyn mentioned in the beginning is step out, meaning zooming out, get out of it for a while, make a break. Just get out in nature for a short walk, or drink a coffee, or whatever makes you feel better. Get out of this emotion. Stop it. Don't think about it anymore. It's not about suppressing it. It's just you're just stepping away, making a pause. You're not giving up. You just make a pause. You zoom out. Maybe do a breathing exercise, or just a short walk, or whatever inspires you, whatever brings you in a good mood. So you zoom out. And then when you zoom in by doing one thing, getting as much data and details about the event, or whatever, about the event that happened that made you feel bad, or that your assumptions or whatever you realize feel bad. And that's what is very, very important. It's just zooming out. There's a term in the Japanese language. It's called geising. Geising is from the samurai language. The samurai, this old Japanese ancient warriors. They have been very, very dangerous and very good, these warriors. And geising means when the warrior is in a battle, it means he sees the opponent that's in front of him, he's fighting against, but he also sees the whole battlefield. That means zooming in, zooming out. This means the geising principle from the samurai. And most people, as we said, I hope we can translate it one-to-one into English, is some people don't see the forest because of all the trees, because we are totally lost in details, and we don't see the whole thing. And we see a detail, and we make assumptions, and we only let information in. That's what I call biased or selective information that fits to our model that we created in our brain, and we don't realize that there are more details, maybe something different. So that's the way to get out of it, is zooming out, breathing, drinking coffee, making a short walk. Just put it away for a while, pause, bring you down, cool down your emotions, and then have a look on the data. And maybe you have to find somebody who gives you the data, but have you the data, and then you realize that there is a different meaning of the event that you thought it is. It's quite simple, but the most difficult thing is to realize that you're in. That's the most difficult thing. It's not difficult to get out. It's just to realize when you're in. And mostly, I don't know if it's about you, Dr. Jacalyn, but when I get mostly triggered by a person I really love, when you have an emotional bonding to a person you love, like a partner or something like that, that's even more difficult to get out, or let's say the other way, it's more easier to play a drama. Yeah, that's more of it. But the thing is, handling challenges about zooming out, getting a realistic distance of it, and then restart again. Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
I completely agree with you. I also teach in my course, Setting Boundaries and Asking Permission. I talk about setting a boundary. So when someone else is highly charged, extremely emotional, if we start to feed into that, meaning we engage, then if you think about a fire, it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So what I like to do is I just set a boundary and say, thank you for sharing. I need to take some time to digest what you've said. And I'm going to actually walk away right now. I'm not negating what you're saying. I'm just saying I need some time to process so I can come back to you with a solution.
Absolutely, that's a very good way, because the point is when somebody is in the red zone, very emotional and high emotional, negative emotional. We talk about negative emotions. It doesn't make any sense to bring any rational arguments. It's like, bringing oil to the fire. It's not working. So the best way is zooming out, says, hey, I got your information, I heard you, I have to process this, I come back to you, and really step out of it, zooming out of it, because there is a way to get about it. It's by Frank Farrelly. He was a sexual therapist, a very famous one from California, Frank Farrelly. And he is the founder of the provocative therapy. There are ways to do it, but they're difficult. They're really difficult. There are ways. I did a training with him many years ago in San Diego, but that's just for professionals. It's not for just I hear it and I do it. It's not about that. There is a way, but normally the best thing is stepping out, pause. The other person has the time to bring down the heat, so he or she is open for rational arguments, because it's not working. It's same to me when I'm on a heat. It's sometimes difficult that I really listen. And that's what you say, elevate listener, meaning listening. But when you're in a heat, you only want to hear what you want to hear. You only want to hear what you want to hear and what you should eat. So what you should hear. So it's good, really, what you said, stepping out, make a pause, and yeah, absolutely.
Roland, I'd really like to address this as an extension of what we're talking about, because sometimes when we're upset, we actually need some space, but maybe someone who's in our life, it could be a friend, it could be a lover, family member, and they don't understand what's going on. And so they immediately take it and make it about them. Oh, you don't love me anymore. Oh, you don't care about me anymore. And in the meantime, it really has nothing to do with them. But sometimes we feel needy, right? We feel like, oh, I want to feel loved, but you're not giving me that love because you're off doing whatever because you need space. And what about me? You left me here. Sounds like something I might have been through, actually. So how can we deal with that so we can maintain our relationship? And the second part, I don't like two-part questions, but I'm going to give the second part. And the second part is, how do we know at some point if this is not just a challenge, but it's a relationship that doesn't work?
Oh, good question. I'm not a specialist on that. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. No, but for a first question, it's all about communicating. I was smiling because with my new girlfriend, we had a long conversation online because we met online in a course, and then we finally met. And there was I remember one thing in the beginning that was important for me, because I learned from past relationships and past arguments and fights, is that we had a conversation about, okay, when you are triggered by me, or when you don't feel good, or when a woman shares her days or something like that, you're just in a bad mood, whatever it is, caused by me or by somebody else, or circumstance, doesn't matter. When you're in a bad mood, how do you want to be handled? You want to be by yourself and you come back to me and tell me what you need, or you just want to be hugged? So we had it just in the beginning, when we're in a bad mood, what you want, because as you said, Dr. Jacalyn, sometimes we want to hug, just be hugged and listened and hold it and hugged and no words. Hey, gentlemen, when your lady has a problem, never ever come with a solution as long as she's not asking for. Okay, that's not working. I can give you one tip. I'm 60 years old. Okay, so never come over with a solution if not asked. Never come to her with a feedback. Never ask about it. Okay, that's one point, very important. So we had this very in the beginning in our relationship, that we are like, okay, when something is happening, that you're in a bad mood, how you want to be treated. I let you alone, and you go out, or I go out when you're in the same room, for as I did, and you take your time or whatever it is, or you just want a conversation about it, or you just want to be hugged. Let me know what it is. And this was something that we communicated in the very beginning, and to be honest, it's very, very helpful. So because for the other partner, something is different, especially for men, men are more challenged when somebody's emotional, and then we feel a little bit helpless. We don't know what to do. So we try to put some action, because men always think, oh, we have to act, we have to act, we have to act. So we put some action. Most of the time we make it worse. So it's a good communication in the beginning, especially in a relationship, and it's never too late to have this communication. When you're in a bad mood, when you're triggered, how you want to be treated, being by yourself or be hugged or whatever it is. It's very important to communicate it, the way you want to be treated. That's question number one.
Very, very good. You did a great job with that. And as a woman, I can say that that is definitely true. And I also teach that in my courses. Do not come back with a solution to someone's problem unless they ask you for advice. Because typically what we really want is to be heard. We want someone to listen to us. And while it's very easy to just sit and rant and rave by yourself, because I live alone, so I talk to myself all the time, sometimes you just want someone to be there just to hear what you have to say. And then when they're finished speaking, what you can say is, Roland, thank you for sharing that with me today. Would you like me to comment, or do you just want me to continue listening?
Yeah, as you said, especially in a relationship, people just want to be seen and heard. That's all about it. And everyone is different. I remember I had a girlfriend. She was always running away, not running away, but she wanted to be by herself. She knew herself, her emotion, because she was very emotional, and she became very aggressive in their emotion. So she was going away, and it took there an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then she came back, and it was like it never happened. Everyone is different. Some people want to be hugged immediately, so everyone is different. So as you said, we have to communicate with each other. We have to learn and get to know each other better. And I mean, it's a little bit different when you meet a business partner for the first time. I said, hey, guy, whenever there's a challenge, you want to be hugged or you want to run away. But mostly, when we talk about relationships with friends and families and our partner, it's also important. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Question number 2. Oh, my gosh. Well, in our consumer society, we always give up very, very early. When something is broken, we throw it away. We buy something new, and that's what my grandma always said. In the early days, we try to fix everything. Also, our relationship, we're not running away. And it's not because women have been financially dependent on their husband. That's not true. I always ask my grandma, I said, it's not true. No, that's not the reason why she was there. She says a relationship love is a constant daily work. And sometimes it's more challenging, sometimes it's less challenging, but it's always challenging. And she said, it wasn't easy with me either for your granddad. So it's always both sides. And I guess I'm not a person to giving up, to be honest. Oh my gosh, I got my girlfriend will kill me when she listens to the show. It's a challenging relationship, absolutely. And I was thinking about myself, why the heck do I have met this girl, and what does the universe tell me? Because I had the last relationship was also very challenging. The relationship before were all very smooth and easy, but the last two were really challenging. Why does it happen to me? What does the universe tell me? And my best friends would say, hey, why you don't go away? You can have everyone. Yeah, I said, yes, but I'm not running away. I'm facing it. And I know I'm not a therapist of my girlfriend. That's not the point. And she's not my therapist. But we trigger each other more in a while, because, I'm in my 60s, she's 40 something. So we all have an emotional backpack. We all have experiences. We have negative experience, trauma, and stuff like that. No, I'm not giving up too much, as long as I can see that the other person is really willing to learn. As I'm not a therapist. I'm not a coach in our relationship, not at all. But I know that sometimes, especially when you're like both of us, I've been 3 years single. She has been 6 years singles. So we get used to handle our stuff by ourselves. We know we don't need somebody. That's what we always say in our relationship. I don't need you. I want you, but I don't need you. That's something different. That's why it was a little bit challenging in the beginning, because we have been used to be by ourselves. We make our own decisions, no compromises. We're both free spirits. So I know this, and I know it takes from my side time to be full in. Well, I'm full in, but you know what I mean. To settle in this relationship, and it's the same for her. But when to give up is when it's always the same shit that's coming up, and it's becoming toxic, or when the other person is trying to manipulate you. And I I charge, or I see a relationship or whatever in the world with a human being is about the actions, not about the words. Whatever the person is telling me or promising me, to be honest, I give a shit on that. I want to see action. I want to see action. That's what I want to see. And as long as the action is okay and it's going in the right direction, I don't give up, because I know that there's a reason why this person is in my life. And if I can, I wouldn't say fix it, because when I say fix it or heal it, it means that we both have an issue, we're not complete or something like that. But as long as I cannot handle this, I guess then the next lady, for example, I'm a man, I'm into ladies, the next lady will come with the same thing and trigger me again. So that's why I stay with it, as long as it's not unhealthy for me and for her, of course.
They're excellent points. And I think for me, when I think about that, if it is the same thing over and over again, and you are having dialogue, you're communicating and saying, hey, this isn't working for me, I'm feeling this way or that way, and seeing if the other person is willing to compromise. But if I were in a situation where I was constantly bucking heads with someone and it was always a crisis, I'm a peace ambassador, so I really like peace. I like peace. I like calm. That doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation with different perspectives. To me, that's elevated listening. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone's entitled to have their own opinion, but we're not entitled to judge someone because their opinion is different than ours. In a relationship, if it's something where, and I think this is interesting, there's a political couple, I'm not going to say their name, but she's a Republican and he's a Democrat. And they've made it work. They've been married for decades. So they're able to take positives from the other perspective. So I think that that's really important, as opposed to someone always beating you down and saying, you know, I don't agree with you, or you're wrong, labeling, calling names. Then I think, to me, that's no longer a challenge. That's dysfunction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, our relationship is quite just 6 months or something like that. And we met today, and we have been working because we're working on different projects, and hopefully we have one project together with you. And so I was working on something. I was writing a concept, and I introduced the concept to her today with another project. And she said, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's mega. But dear, this and this and this. And she said this and this. She had a totally different point of view. And I could take something, not all, but I didn't mention it. But what was very helpful for the conversation was I said, I hear you. I hear you. And make a note, I hear you. I don't want to discuss it right now. I just want to introduce the whole concept. Then we have the discussion later. But I always say, I hear you. I always feedback that I listen to you. I hear you. I'm not arguing right now because we do it later. I want to just finish the whole concept. But and then finally she said, I guess we will have a lot of fights on that. And I said, and she looked at me and I said, yeah, what do you want to tell me? Yeah, we have some fights on that. I said, that's cool, because when we are both always the same opinion, always the same point of view, we cannot grow. And then maybe we go both in the wrong direction. And by the way, I have to send her the book. And I recommended a book to her, what I've been reading years ago. It's called Disrupt Yourself, meaning really disrupt your own strategy, your own plan before the competition does it. And I think it's good in a relationship that when we have different point of view, then we can grow. And then one-on-one is not 2, it's maybe 3, 4, 5, 7, or even higher. So, but this means that you really have a good conversation skills and listening skills. That's very, very important. And then you can really grow together. Like, otherwise you give up and you only hear she loves me, or she loves me, or she loves me not. Because most people, when you give feedback or see something different, they only hear it brings me up in your relationship or brings me down. And that's not the point. We're just talking about different facts that we see differently. It has nothing to do with our relationship, because we're in a different role. As we're not lovers, we are business partners in a role. And we always say this, now we're in the role of business partners, now we're in a role of this. It's nothing to do with our relationship, but most people mix it. And I think that this is also important, that we have clear communication. Well, I would say a real setup how we would love to communicate, and what is important for us, and what we need to feel safe in a relationship, or in a business relationship, or a private one. At the end, it's all about communication.
Communication is key. And I think also it's important that the people in your life, you want them to win. You want them to succeed, you want them to excel, as opposed to you secretly are jealous and you're hoping that they'll fail or something bad will happen to them. Many people feel that way. And I know for me, especially being on this platform, I want people to win. I want people to collaborate. Someone just contacted me recently and said, we'd like to work with you on Instagram because you don't have that many followers and you can buy followers and do this and do that. And I wasn't even going to respond, but I did. And I said, I'm not buying anything. I want authentic. And I said, because it's not about me. I don't want to be an influencer. I want everyone on my team to feel that they've influenced inner peace and world peace. So when you feel that way and you really want people, your partner, to win, to succeed, sometimes it's easier to take a step back and let them say what they have to say because you ultimately want them to be happy.
Yeah, and there's always something to learn from another person, I mean, it was interesting because before we met 2 days ago, or one day, she texted me, said, I want to work together with you, but you have already done this successfully years ago. What is my role? I don't only want to be the beauty in the game. I just want to bring my own stuff in. I said, how do you see myself? And that's how we started the conversation with this. And I asked her back, how do you see yourself? What do you want to do? And I said, of course, I have more experience. I'm older. I'm longer on this planet. I have a longer business experience, but it doesn't mean that I don't listen because I'm not 100% perfect. I had a lot of success, a lot of experience, but it doesn't mean that a new point of view, a new perspective, maybe a female perspective or a younger perspective, whatever it is helpful for the whole thing. And because she said, two alphas is not working in the group. And I said, I'm an alpha. You're alpha too, but I know exactly when I have to step back because it's for the purpose of the whole thing.
Good for you.
And this is so important. If you lead, I'm fine. If it makes sense, because you're better in this or this, more experience, I'm fine. And if it's not going, I take the lead back and I'm leading. And so it's not that it's just me leading. It's both of us, but it's not at the same time. That's not working. It's not working.
Definitely not.
And this is about mature relationship. Sometimes this person's leading, sometimes the other person leading. And it's not about power. It's not about fighting and stuff like that. It's about, okay, go in the lead, or I go in the lead, whatever.
It's a relationship that's working. By the way, we do have a couple of comments I just want to acknowledge. Thanks for the show from Nuagira Keplani Enoch. Enoch, nice to have you with us.
Bush Child Foundation, Uganda.
And also Ramzim Wawala. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching over on Facebook. Nice to have you. So we've covered a lot of areas, and I think it would be helpful. We've both talked about taking a step back, setting a boundary. And I think something else that's important, which really goes along with what we're saying, is not to be swept up in the other person's emotions and not to take it personally, because many times whatever someone's doing or how they're reacting has nothing to do with us, but we always take it on ourselves. And from there, then we start to go emotionally downhill and we're not able to see the horizon, so to speak. So we've also talked about how to know when you're in a dysfunctional relationship or you're just in a relationship with challenges, and how do you want to accept or deal with those challenges. So Roland, I'd love to have you talk about setting expectations for communication. So you get into a new relationship, a new partnership, whatever it is, and how do you establish those expectations on both sides? Meaning you share how you feel and then you share what you're going to provide.
Yeah, first of all, as a principal guideline, I'm not expecting my partner to make me happy. It's my responsibility to be happy. It's not her in this case. But what I do is I communicate how I want to be treated. I communicate what values are important for me, or what values have to be fulfilled in our relationship, in our communication, and our working together, whatever. That are important and that they're really important to me, and I want them to be fulfilled, because otherwise I'm not working. For example, I need clarity. I need different stuff. Yeah. That's what I communicate in the beginning, and to be honest, sometimes I have to communicate 2 or 3 or 4 times that the other person gets it. Of course, that's always in the beginning, but I communicate the values that have been fulfilled why they have to be fulfilled, and I ask for them. That's what I'm doing. Why they're important for me, and then I can perform best in a business or a relationship. That's what I do. I learned to do this. I'm not waiting that the other person is assuming what I need. No, I tell my needs. I tell my needs. And I think this is another pertinent thing is about setting boundaries, saying no, meaning saying no to another person is saying yes to myself, but it's also to speak out what your needs are. Yeah, it's so important, but most people feel ashamed about it. No, I talk about my needs, what is important in a relationship to me, what I need that I'm in. For example, we had a discussion. I said, I can handle in business and a relationship, I can handle a clear yes, and I can handle a clear no. I don't feel comfortable with a maybe, because when somebody tells me maybe, for me, it's a no. It's not a yes. I go directly to a no because I don't want to stay in between. That's not working for me, because as long as I get triggered by something, meaning as long as I'm distracted, I cannot go forward. But I can go forward with a yes or no. With a yes with you, for example, in a relationship, with a no with somebody else or by myself. You know what I mean? So that's a point that I brought on. I need clarity. I can handle everything. A yes or a no, I don't care about. I can handle it. I'm a mature boy. I'm not a small boy anymore. But I don't like a maybe or let's see or stuff like that. So I'm not in business, not in a relationship. So it's all about being clear about what you really want. And I guess that's the first challenge for most people. Most people can express what they don't want, but they can express what they want. So being clear by yourself what you want, what is your goal, what you need, what your values are important, and then communicate them, and then see what's going to happen, and have a discussion around it. And it's interesting to get to know each other and open up. And then, by the way, that's how intimacy started. It's not in the bed. It's just how, when we open up and talking about our needs, our desires, our emotions, our doubts, fears, anxieties, and stuff like that. So it's an open conversation, and I guess we have to learn this, or relearn this again. Children have no issue to explain exactly what they want or don't want. We have to relearn it again. I think that's the foundation of everything. If it's a business or a private relationship, is having a clear, honest, authentic communication.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing up about children, because I think there's a really valuable segue from there. I've seen children want to get their way. They want something and they just start jumping up and down and screaming. And I think as children ourselves, if we incorporate that, which is totally normal, I would assume, but as an adult, we remember those behaviors. That to me is not a challenge. That is a dysfunction, and that is not my problem. That is the other person's behavior that they have to address. So I will also set expectations in the initial conversation that I'm going to be controlling myself emotionally, and I would appreciate it if you would do the same. And if you're unable to, because something triggers you, please let me know. We'll stop the conversation or the negotiations, and we'll take a break. And I think that's why, it just popped into my head, I think that's why in courtrooms, when a witness starts crying, and I know there could be some kind of strategy behind it, but many times, at least in the movies, you'll see the judge say, let's take a break, because the person's not able to continue because they're highly emotional. And in the courtroom, and again, I'm just surmising this, but I would surmise that they're trying to get facts as the witness remembers them. And if the witness is extremely emotional, they're not able to contribute. And I think that parlays through all of our relationships.
Absolutely, and when we think about relationship or whatever, when we talk about emotions and adults and kids are very emotional, until they learn, don't be too loud, don't cry, don't shout, or also on the other side, don't be too joyful, stuff like that. So what we do is we bring our 100% positive emotion, 100% negative emotion, so we bring it to the middle, so just a little bit. Don't disturb us with your joy or if you're screaming or shouting. So we do this. We're not used to it anymore. And I think it's so important. And there's also, when we talk about relationship, what I'm talking to my girlfriend is, when you're emotional, it's fine. Bring it out. If you're fucked up, pissed off with me, just let me know. You want to shout on me, or you want to get out and shout in the forest, whatever. But please get rid of this emotion and do whatever you do, shouting or exercising or whatever, do it. Don't swallow it down, because we swallow so much stuff down, and then we wonder why we always have get a cold or have problems with the lungs or with the throat. Get out of it. Just let me know how you want to be handled. And I take it personally, because you're just in a heat. It's okay. It's nothing to do with you. It's your heat. Just let me know how you want me to react. Staying away, give you space, right? Or I go away, whatever. That's all I want, because it's nothing to do with me. And people, as I said, sometimes take it personally, or especially men feel very helpless in the situation. What am I expected to do now? What am I expected to do? I want to do good. What am I expected to do now? And most of you do the wrong thing. But I want to, because we're coming to the end of the show, I want to also talk about handling challenges when you are on a task, whatever you're doing, when you prepare for a sports event or writing a book or in businesses. And that's what I always tell my coaching clients, is when they're overwhelmed, when they feel challenged, is actually one example. I was mentoring a wonderful guy for 6 months to help to build up his business, and yeah, well, they did. He's a coach. He's working with women very successfully, by the way, but he won't be more successful. And so he really learned a lot of me. I really spared him, and I really challenged him. And so, and I guess we had 6 months. So 6 months means we had around 120 sessions, so once a week, an hour on Zoom. And I guess it was 3 weeks before we ended, because the 6 months are over. He said to me, Roland, I push myself. I have a lot of this. I learned about discipline, about consistency and persistence, but it's just too much for me. And I said, oh, there's a misunderstanding. Is when you're overwhelmed, it's not about that you're not allowed to pause. Yeah. So when it's too much, when you feel challenged, meaning overwhelmed by the task itself, what I mentioned in the beginning, when you're overwhelmed by the task itself, then pause. Pause doesn't mean you give up. It means you just zoom out. You make a pause, what I said in the beginning. You just zoom out, and then you recharge your batteries. Maybe you go for a walk in nature, you breathe or take a coffee or whatever. And then when you feel good, you go back. And that's also important. That is really helpful when you're challenged by a task that we feel overwhelmed, is pausing. Pausing is good. It's not about giving up. Okay. So before you give up, never ever give up. Just pause, zoom out, continue the way you're following. Or maybe you find out when you pause and you zoom out, maybe when you get a clear mindset again and you check all the data and fact, maybe you find to go a different path. Yeah, maybe, because the success road is never ever a straight road. It's always bending. But when you pausing helps you to step out, to zoom out, to get the emotions down when you feel overwhelmed, for example, and then you continue your trip. Maybe straight, or maybe you make an extra bend around an obstacle or whatever it is. So that's also important to mention, that handling challenging is very good. As we said, also, like jacalyn, when there's a lot of heat in a relationship or in a conversation in general with a person, it doesn't make sense to continue, because the other person is not open for what we said, for rational arguments. So we just pause. And the same is when we're overwhelmed by a task. It doesn't make sense to force ourselves to make more mistakes. Sorry, we make more mistakes. So just stepping out, pause, and then you're continuing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And we are at the end of our show, but I just wanted to add one other thing to what you're saying. And again, I teach this in setting boundaries. It's about knowing your audience. So we don't ever really know someone completely, but people show us who they are with their behavior. So if you see certain behavior signs in a person, meaning they're highly emotional, we have the opportunity to say to ourselves, how will I show up when this person is highly emotional? Is that something I'm able to deal with, that I want to deal with? And sometimes we think, oh, I'll change them. And believe me, at 62, no one's changing me. So the point is, if someone shows you who they are, that old expression, believe them and then make a decision. So for me, many years ago, someone said to me, you need to keep your head where your feet are. And it really didn't sink in until years later. Now I completely get it, so that I'm totally present. And I don't like a lot of drama. I don't want to be in drama-filled relationships. That doesn't mean that I don't want to learn. Of course I want to learn. I want to learn in a respectful way. I became an etiquette coach last year with the British School of Excellence. And I really try to incorporate all those things in with listening. So that's what I would like to leave people with today. When it comes to handling challenges successfully, it's about respect. It's about communication. It's about setting boundaries. It's about knowing when to step away and keeping your emotions intact. Roland, how would you roll the whole thing up and hand it to somebody who's watching or listening today about how to handle challenges successfully?
Yeah, I just can emphasize what you say. It's about respect. It's about communication. And first of all, please don't take everything personal. That I remember, and because this is a small kid behaving, don't take things personal. It's nothing to do with you. Even when you made a root cause for it, yes, but it's their reaction. Don't take it personal. I think that's so important. And as to men, I want to say, because I'm a man, to men I say, I was always, in the beginning, I was always overwhelmed with ladies who have been very emotional on both sides, very joyful, dancing on the table, or in public, or very aggressive or pissed off. I couldn't handle it because I had no idea about my own emotions. I never learned it. But over the years, I learned about to recognize my own emotions, to handle them, to name them, to express them. And since then, it's easier for me because, as I said in the beginning, I don't feel helpless anymore when a woman is emotional in front of me. I know it's nothing to do with me. I don't take personally. I have a clear conversation about she wants to be treated, and all is good. And that's my. And as you said, it's all about communicating and respect.
Thank you very much for taking the time. And you and I will actually be meeting in person in June, in the latter part of June, which is very exciting. And maybe we'll even be able to get a broadcast in. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Would be cool. Yeah, see you in Vienna. I'm very looking forward to that.
See you in Vienna. That sounds like a song. Roland, what's the best way for people to reach out to you, and who would be a good contact for you?
First of all, how you can contact me is best way is email me. It's office@roland-friedl.com. My name is ROLANDFRIEDL. roland-friedl.com is the best way to email me, and then we can set an appointment for a conversation via Zoom or whatever. Who to contact me? Yeah, everyone who wants to find their own way of happiness in business or in private life. If you have the feeling that there is more for you to come, and you need somebody on your side with a lot of experience who is very authentic and honest to you and can guide you, you're more than welcome to contact me. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you very much. And we are showing Roland's website here, which is his name, roland-friedl.com. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. All right, my friend, thank you for being here, and I look forward to chatting with you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best. And to our audience, thanks for joining us. And if you love the show, thumbs up, because there's also recording if you missed something or you want to share it with your friends on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, I'm going to show on the screen right now the actual QR code for our first channel. We have two YouTube channels, and this is our Silver Creator YouTube channel. This has over 103,000 subscribers. And our second channel is at 35,000. That's Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck. So if you see the QR code here on the right, you can go ahead and scan this, and you will see our YouTube channel popping up. And then we'd love to have you in our community. And the next thing I just want to share is that as we continue to grow, we now have our own merchandise that's available. And part of the whole reason of doing this, by the way, it's not to get rich. I mean, yesterday I sold a few things and made $7. And believe me, I was very excited about the $7. But it's really not about the money. It's about the fact that we're a global community. And we want to have as many people as possible be aware of elevated listening, and also to support our TV show hosts all over the world. I mean, a big part of why I do this is to support our team and the messages that they have. I watch the shows that we have, and I'm constantly learning something new. And I think to myself, this is amazing that we have this incredibly professional group of leaders from around the world who are sharing their knowledge and expertise. So here's our store, and we now have a new product drop, which is I Am a TV Show Host on USA Global TV and Radio. And of course, I have been a guest on USA Global TV and Radio. And then we have items that have our logo without anything on them. So we're having a 25% off the shop sale right now. So you can just click here to redeem that. We also do have accessories. I have a hat, I've got mugs, and we've got all kinds of really cool things here. So we'd love to have you join us. And whether you've been a guest or not, we actually have a new product drop coming soon, which is I'm a loyal fan of USA Global TV and Radio. So take a look, take advantage of the sale, and join our community, because we love to have you as our brand ambassador. Take a picture of yourself with one of these items, and we'll love to have you on for an interview and talk about your journey and what it is that you're doing. So thank you again for being with us. We're going to close out with some of our sponsorships. And the first one is a new movie trailer for my new book, Lady Ella and Lord Jack, Their Kindness Adventures. And this has pictures of Ella and Jack in it. We also have a brand new Lady Ella and Lord Jack song that goes with this book, and we'll be sharing that soon. So let's take a look, and then we're going to hear from Tracy Cram-Perkins.
From the magical world of the amazing adventures of Lady Ella comes a heartwarming new journey filled with kindness, courage, and compassion. Lady Ella, the beloved ladybug and listening mentor, is back, and this time she is not alone. Meet her brave and thoughtful brother, Lord Jack. Together, they take flight on their very first kindness adventure. Along the way, they meet 3 new friends in need: a duck feeling discouraged, a mouse struggling to be understood, and a busy little bee who's completely lost. But with the power of elevated listening and simple acts of kindness, Lady Ella and Lord Jack show us how understanding and empathy can make the biggest difference in someone's day. Written by Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck, the listening mentor. This 9th book in the best-selling Lady Ella series teaches children ages 5 to 10 the essential skills of listening, kindness, and etiquette. Now available for pre-order on Amazon. Scan the QR code and order your copy today.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Conveniently located in the Cherry Hill Mall in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Avio Art specializes in custom art and photography printing. From museum-quality canvas prints and stretching to photo restoration, fine art reproduction, and framing with museum-grade glass. Every service is completed in-house with exceptional attention to detail. Visit avioart.com or email support@avioart.com.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book.
Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck, music score by Yeffy Tang, creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you. USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring, introducing the patented Ring Thing. Your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_ or go to our website ringthing.com.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.